Good morning, chiropractic family. It's Charlie with Mountain Man Digital. And what I wanted to discuss today is how to get marketing for up to 90% off. A lot of people usually, when they look into marketing their practice, one of the first things that they'll look into will be regular old-fashioned ads. So ads in the local newspaper, radio advertisements, different print advertisements, maybe even billboards. And these all still work. Like, do not think that I'm somebody who's like, don't do those at all, because that would be foolish. Especially in some smaller communities, those are really the main ways that you're going to get people to know you and drive interest. So, in this modern age, where you have access to so many different free marketing channels, social media, SEO, why would you want to use these other mediums, and how do you get a discount on them? That's kind of what I'm going to talk about today. The reason why you would use these other mediums is because they're usually fairly well regulated. So if you're wondering how many eyeballs are really going to see your newspaper ad, your periodical advertisement, how many people will actually hear your radio ad or your TV ad, how many people will see your billboard, usually those numbers are audited by a third-party company. So if you're looking for this stuff, you can ask for the numbers that are done by a third-party source, and they'll tell you. And that gives you a pretty good idea of how many folks are going to be exposed to what you have to say. That's really powerful. Also, for many communities, especially smaller population ones, they use social media differently. Social media to them isn't the front screen of the world. It's more a place where they communicate with friends and family, right? Mom's on there, grandma's on there, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, and they use it as a way to all keep in touch. You know, especially in some rural communities where it's a half hour, hour and a half to get to mom and dad, to get to aunt and uncle, everything else. It's a much easier way to just keep everybody in the loop. And because of that, your Facebooks, Instagrams, Twitters, the networks inside of those communities don't take well to advertisement, right? They're there to communicate with friends and family. They're not there to consume content, as it were, right? Like right now what I'm doing is I'm making, this isn't for my mom, this isn't for my friends and family, right? This is for you guys, this is for chiropractors. And in some rural communities, they don't want to see this, right? It's not what they're on Facebook for. They're on Facebook to communicate with friends and family. And because of that, it oftentimes makes more sense to use alternative marketing methods. Fair? So with that being said, how do you get that stuff at a discount, right? Because very often they're still using old school pricing, which is very high, mid to high four figures sometimes for some of this stuff, which is a lot of money, especially when there's no guarantee of ROI. Oftentimes you can't stop this stuff midstream. You just write a big old check and pray that it works. So what do? Well, it's important to realize that in advertising, everything has an end date, especially with these more traditional advertising methods, right? You gotta have somebody on the radio. You gotta have something in the newspaper. You gotta have something in the magazine, And those magazines publish, print, go out to the stations, at a certain date. And so one of the best things you can do is contact someone early in the month and then wait. It's terrible, right? Because they'll be biting their nails waiting for you to return their call. But if you're able to show interest early and then essentially give them space, right? What you can do is come back with an offer very often towards the end of the month before production date. And usually they'll email you or call you back and say, hey, we're going to print, or we're going to go live, or we have someone else, at X time, what do you want to do? And that's where you want to be at. Because once you get there, then you can say, well, I'm still thinking about it. I'm trying to do this. Can you come down on the price? Let me see what I can do, right? And if you're a real pro, what you'll do is you go, okay, so I've written the ad according to the specifications. Here's a check. And write the check out for what you can afford, right? And let them do what they're going to do, okay? Because there's deadlines involved, right? Time is your friend when it comes to negotiating marketing with these periodicals, newspaper companies, radio stations, and TV stations, because they need something there, right? Some money is better than no money. So you can't go ridiculous and be like, here's 20 bucks, give me a full page ad. That'll never work. They'll keep the page blank or give another account a discount. But there is wiggle room in there. So you can get stuff at steep discounts. Also, it's important to keep in mind that any of these advertising companies are a business, just like yours. And businesses need cash flow, right? So if there's a periodical whose niche you serve directly, and they're having a hard time right now with readership, cash flow, whatever, you can use that to your advantage too, And this gives you all sorts of different opportunities in this space. And this stuff's been going on for years. So, it feels a little underhanded to talk about it. But, I don't use like all these tricks at once because I feel like it's too much. Because one of the more important pieces that will really give you these discounts on the other side is good relationships with these advertisers, right? So it's okay to play this game a little bit. But it's important to remember that down the road, next month, 3 months from now, 6 months, when you're really seeing ROI on this, that's really when the real discounts will come in because you already know you're making money off it, And then if you started with a quarter page, you go, bump me up to a half page. And they go, you know what, Joe? We're going to give that to you for free for this month to give it a try, and we'll see how it goes. That's a heck of a deal, We have a space, Joe, for the back page full that's open in August. How about we give that to you for the half page price and you give it a shot? If you like it, we'll keep it for 3 more months for you at X price. How does that sound? And those prices are oftentimes so good that your head will spin, right? And that happens, those 90% discounts happen because you've built a good relationship with the advertiser. So learn about the company you want to advertise with. Get a feel for their publication cycle. Use that to your advantage and build a good relationship with them. Okay? And that will give you all of these different opportunities to be able to advertise in these periodicals and get massive reach, right? And you also have to remember they're competing with Facebook. They're competing with Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. They understand that these are real threats to their business model. So take a look at what it costs for you to get 50,000 impressions in your local area, right? Because I find most periodicals 30, 40, 50,000 is kind of where they need to be to kind of cash flow appropriately and have staff. So if you're talking to folks that have readerships of X size, let's say 30,000, right? Take a look at Facebook ads. What would it cost you to get an ad in front of 30,000 people on Facebook? Right? What would it cost? Okay? And then do a little math, and figure it out. How much more, because it probably will be more, am I paying to get in front of these people in the periodical? There's other benefits, of course, because these people are actually reading it, not just scrolling past it, etc. But keep those numbers in mind, right? Because those are the numbers that the CEO is thinking about every single day. And don't be afraid to bring that up. I can do a Facebook ad, and get it in front of people for $150 a day, equivalent to the $3,000 you want me to spend. What's the real benefit here? Let them tell you. Let them see if that's really the option they want to offer you, So keep that stuff in mind, okay? Now, I am still looking for 2 more clients in March. So if you are looking for a website or Facebook advertising, please get in touch with me. I'd love to do strategy sessions with anybody who wants to learn more about how to market their practice online. Okay? You don't have to be ready to buy or anything like that. If you want to just pick my brain for 30 minutes, I'm completely open to that. I want to get to know you guys better so that this content can be better, so that my newsletter can be better, so the video guides that I make can be better, so that you guys have more successful practices. So please feel free to call me if you just have questions or if you want to get started and really grow your practice like crazy in 2019. So thanks a lot, guys. And as always, see you tomorrow. I should come up with a real as always. Think about that.